Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints continued their path toward cap compliance. Every day it's a different player. Thursday was 8-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cam Jordan, the latest to restructure his contract. Adam Schefter was the first to tweet it earlier today. But Schefter's initial tweet actually had an error in it. Schefter noted that the deal would free up $1.5 million against the Saints' salary cap. The problem is that's not exactly right. The Saints could have restructured the deal and saved only $1.5 million, but the Saints went ham, as they are wont to do, and as Mike Triplett and Nick Underhill noted, the Saints actually restructured to save more than $9 million against the salary cap. So the Saints now have gotten closer to cap compliance, somewhere in the $12 to $15 million range. Checking, kind of updating Spotrac for the official numbers on how they look right now as they get closer to shaving that $80 million. Some $80 million they were over the cap. As of right now, I don't think this yet accounts for the official numbers of from Cam Jordan yet. But when it does, we'll update it and let you know. But there's two. Cam is one of two veteran Saints players that kind of wanted to talk about today with the news around them. And with Cam, his salary cap number falls for 2024. But the problem is when you do a deal like this and you restructure, it pushes more money into future years, which means his cap number for next year goes north of $20 million, and it's still going to be in the $15 million range for 2026. So, unfortunately, this is the problem with the restructuring. Yes, it gets you within cap compliance now in the short term, but you're pushing money into future years. And when it comes to veteran players like this, the unfortunate part is now you continue to have to pay at an exorbitant rate for players that are far past their prime. And unfortunately, we have to say that about Cam Jordan, who, when you look at the past couple of seasons, he has seen his production drop dramatically. The Saints were, one of the worst teams in the NFL this past year at sacking the quarterback, and Cam Jordan tied his career low in sacks, the same number that he had in his rookie season. So, if you're gonna commit the type of resources you are to Cam Jordan, he's only going to give you 2 sacks. Are you really getting a return? And so there's the two-part question here, which is you're asking about maintaining locker room and culture and having a veteran player like that, but then it's also, what are you paying? What are you getting as a return on the field in that investment? When Dennis Allen met with reporters at the Combine, he talked about establishing culture and buy-in with his guys. And we've talked about that so much because it was something that was so important for Sean Payton, and it feels like it's eroded. Here was Dennis Allen.
Well, I think it all starts with me. And so, I think setting the mindset for the type of team that we're going to be, having that filtered down through coaching staff and the veteran players, leaders on our football team. And we've got to make sure that we're holding everybody accountable to the standard that we need to have the type of success that we want to have. And look, everybody wants to win, and I think it's my job to teach what it takes to win. And then everybody's got to be held accountable to that standard.
It all sounds like the right thing. I just don't, as you know how I feel about it, I just don't believe Dennis Allen's the guy that knows that. And you want to have a great locker room, and you need that great locker room. But just in the way that we saw Drew Brees pass that leadership torch, that mantle, as he retired to Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, great veteran players, you're getting to the point to where those guys are in turn going to have to pass the torch to whoever's next. The real question is, who is that on this team? And I don't have a great answer for you. I don't have a great answer of who the young veteran is that's ready to be the vocal leader on this team. I mean, maybe a guy like Brian Brzee or Chris Olave could emerge into that role, but I don't think either of them are there yet. Maybe it's Eric McCoy. Ryan Ramczyk is clearly nearing the end of his career as injuries look like they're gonna cut him short. I would have said Alvin Kamara as well, but it was so interesting today to see this piece from Bill Barnwell over at ESPN.com, and he's basically tiering all the potential free agents position by position. And he's got, when he did running backs today, Saquon was his only tier 1 running back. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones were his tier 2 running backs. He had Alvin Kamara in his tier 3. Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, and Joe Mixon. I mean, that's what we're talking about now with Alvin Kamara. And, the write-up on Kamara essentially is suggesting that Kamara should be a cap casualty, but for the fact that the way the Saints structure deals probably won't allow for him to be a cap casualty. He's probably going to restructure his deal as the way that it's probably going to work. And they could save $12 million by designating him as a post-June 1 release. So the question comes now, do you want Kamara on the roster? Do you need to save the $12 million? Is he worth it, really, is the question. And I hate to say this because I love Alvin Kamara. As a lifelong Saints fan, I would put him on the very, very short list of most fun players I have ever watched in the black and gold. His early career was so dynamic and so fun to watch. His playmaking ability, both as a runner and as a pass catcher. You adore a player like that. But I think it's on all of us as fans or them as coaches or as front office executives to think of things, though, as they are and not what they were. Because what Alvin Kamara is now is a running back who a year ago averaged 3.9 yards per carry and 6.2 yards per reception. Those were both career lows. Last year, Alvin Kamara had 1 receiving touchdown. That was a career low. Last year, Alvin Kamara played in 13 games, which tied a career low. Alvin Kamara has not played a full season since his rookie year. And there's a reason you went and signed Jamal Williams in free agency last year and drafted Kendre Miller. It's because as amazing as Alvin Kamara was, what Alvin Kamara is no longer amazing. He's, as Bill Barnwell put it, a tier 3 running back, a capable starter. But is a capable starter worth the $12 million you could save if you designated him a post-June 1 release? I think what you have to ask yourself is, do you have a better option? Remove emotion. I mean, Alvin Kamara is going to be in the Saints Hall of Fame one day. He's awesome. And we've loved watching him play. But financially, does it make sense to have a player that's clearly trending down as he approaches 30, can't make it a full season, it's coming off a year where he had career lows in all these different categories? Yeah. I mean, the answer is yes. If you can remove emotion from it, if you can take away the fact that we all love Alvin Kamara and Cameron Jordan, and say, is it worth paying these players what you're paying them for the production you're getting? And the answer is unequivocally no. They're not producing at the level you're paying them. And that happens. It happens with every great player in every sport, you eventually get to that point where you have to make this decision. I don't know what it's going to take for the Saints to make this decision, but clearly they decided they're keeping Cam Jordan. It was the restructure today. We'll see what they decide to do with Alvin Kamara because he could be a cap casualty. And honestly, considering you invested a high draft pick in Kendre Miller and you paid Jamal Williams last year, he should be a cap casualty. It's just hard to acknowledge that because of your emotional connection to him. So it's an unenviable task trying to put these rosters together, especially when you love players like that. I love Alvin Kamara, man. But if you're being honest, like if you could say, like if this was a conversation about like the Titans with Derrick Henry, you can make an unemotional comment about that. It's hard to do when you love the player and the franchise. Remove emotion. The answer is pretty easy. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.